Very good evening and welcome to the news tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories. Let's start with the headlines. Prime Minister inaugurates projects in Daman and Diu worth over 1,000 crore rupees, including a flight service to Ahmedabad under the Udan scheme, launches Tamil Nadu subsidy scheme to help women buy scooters in Chennai. In the PNB fraud case, passports of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi cancelled. CBI questions the bank's managing director and executive director, while a diamond jewellery exporter is booked over the Oriental Bank of Commerce's complaint of a 389 crore loan fraud. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley indicates that laws could be tightened to punish bank fraudsters, holds regulators and bank management responsible for the PNB fraud, tells industry to get into the habit of doing ethical business. NCERT school syllabus to be reduced by half to promote all-round development of children. HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar tells RSTV exclusively, confirms the revised syllabus will take effect from 2019. And after winning the ODI series against South Africa, the Indian women's cricket team achieves a rare double series triumph abroad, seals 3-1 victory in the T20 series, winning the fifth and final match by 54 runs. Our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday launched development schemes worth 1,000 crore rupees for Daman and Diu and also inaugurated a flight connecting Ahmedabad to the coastal town of Diu. While addressing a public meeting at Daman, he also stressed on the need to give importance to cleanliness.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday launched projects worth over 1,000 crore rupees in Daman and Diu. They included a flight service connecting Daman and Diu with Ahmedabad under the Udan scheme. A helicopter service was also launched at the event. Addressing a public meeting, the Prime Minister called Daman a mini India, while stating that air connectivity will boost tourism in the region.
जिस प्रकार से दमन, दीव, दादरा नगर हवेली ये पूरे क्षेत्र में एक विकास का नया माहौल पैदा हुआ है। आज दमन एक प्रकार से लघु भारत बन गया है।
Praising the Union Territory in becoming open defecation free, Modi said the Union Territory has always been aware of the importance of cleanliness. He also urged local fishermen to form small groups and register themselves to avail the benefits of Blue Revolution.
दमन में इतनी स्वच्छता के प्रति जागरूकता और दमन में इतना बड़ा सफाई का अभियान, दमन एक प्रकार से टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन बन गया है और जब सफाई होती है तो लोगों को बाहर से आने का मन करता है। अगर टूरिज्म बढ़ता है तो यहां के लोगों को रोजी रोटी मिलती है।
The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone for a slew of projects, including a water treatment plant, a gas pipeline, an electric substation, a municipal market and a footbridge, among others. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Prime Minister Modi on Saturday also launched the Amma two-wheeler scheme for working women in Chennai. The scheme allows women 50% subsidy to buy scooters. The Prime Minister called the scheme his tribute to the late Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha. He added that it will go a long way in further empowering them. Modi symbolically handed over the keys and registration certificates of two-wheelers to 5 women on the occasion. He also launched the planting of 70 lakh saplings on the occasion. The pet project of the late Chief Minister was launched on her birth anniversary.
When we empower the women in family, we empower the entire household. Over 11 crore loans have been sanctioned under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. And most importantly, 70% of these beneficiaries are women.
Now to the latest development in the Punjab National Bank fraud case. The government has revoked passports of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, two of the accused in the 11,400 rupee crore scam case. The CBI on Saturday questioned PNB Managing Director Sunil Mehta and Executive Director Brahmaji Rao in Mumbai. The Enforcement Directorate attached 21 properties, including a penthouse and a farmhouse of Nirav Modi and his group, worth over 523 crore rupees in fresh action against the jeweler. The Central Probe Agency issued a provisional order to attach the assets under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and seized an 81.16 crore rupee valued penthouse and a flat worth over 15 crores in the sea-facing Samudra Mahal apartments in the Worli area of Mumbai. With the latest action, the total assets seized by the ED in this case are now over 6,393 crore rupees. The agency has also summoned Nirav Modi, his wife and Gitanjali Gems promoter Mehul Choksi for questioning in the case on the 26th of February. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that regulators should have a third eye which should be open to detect a fraud. Speaking on the concluding day of the 4th Global Business Summit on Saturday, Jaitley said that unlike politicians, regulators are unaccountable. He also said that unethical behavior in the lender-borrower relation has to end. Jaitley also said the industry needs to get into the habit of doing ethical business. The Finance Minister further added that bank frauds push measures like ease of doing business to the background, while scars on the economy take a front seat.
This whole business of NPAs, how much of it is due to business failures, right, and how much some part of it in some companies may also be due to the fact that diversions may have taken place. Right. Cases where of willful default are something which is much more than merely a business failure itself. The bank frauds which have now come to surface. Now, if you periodically have incidents of this kind, I think the entire effort of ease of doing business itself goes into the background. And therefore, it is these scars on the economy which take the front seat.
Meanwhile, Congress leader Kapil Sibal has criticized the finance minister for blaming regulators over the PNB fraud. He also demanded a thorough investigation into the whole case.
जो बैंक में पैसा जाता है वो आपका और मेरा पैसा जाता है जिस पे हम लोगों ने टैक्स दिया है उस पैसे को कोई इस्तेमाल करके फ्रॉड करके अमीर हो जाए वो धन को वापस लेना चाहिए और जो भी इस कंस्पिरेसी में शामिल है उसको दंडित करना चाहिए और जिसकी रेख देख में ये हुआ है उसके खिलाफ भी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए.
Another bank fraud came to light on Saturday after CBI registered a case against Delhi-based diamond jewellery exporter for an alleged bank loan fraud to the tune of 389.85 crore rupees towards Oriental Bank of Commerce. The CBI has booked Dwarka Das Seth International Private Limited for the alleged fraud. 6 months after the public sector bank filed a complaint with the CBI, the agency booked the company and another company named Dwarka Das Seth SEZ Incorporation. The company has availed various credit facilities from OBC between 2007 to 2012, which swelled to 389 crore rupees during the period. In other news, the group of ministers on the Goods and Services Tax Network recommended that the electronic way bill generation for intrastate movement be made mandatory from the 1st of April 2018. The GST provision requires transporters to carry an electronic way bill when moving goods between states. Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Modi, who heads the GOM on GSTN, said that the recommendation will be considered by the GST Council at its meeting on the 10th of March.
और प्रारंभ में केवल इंटर स्टेट मूवमेंट होगा और उसके बाद फेज्ड मैनर में और इंट्रा स्टेट के लिए 4-5 स्टेट्स को हम लोग ऑन बोर्ड करेंगे। तो कुल मिलाकर ये ई-वे बिल जो प्रारंभ हो रहा था पहले से और कुछ ग्लिचेस और कुछ कठिनाइयों के उसको हम लोग लागू नहीं कर पाए थे, ये अब 1 अप्रैल से और ये लागू किया जाएगा।
And here's some good news for school students. Human Resource Development Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that the current NCERT syllabus will be cut by half from the academic year 2019-2020. Making this major announcement on Rajya Sabha TV's program, The Pulse, Javadekar said that this will give school children enough time to pursue extracurricular activities and ensure their all-round development. He further said that the no detention policy will be discontinued and Class 5 and Class 8 children will undergo a kind of mini board exams.
I am asking teachers who are teaching what portion should be mandatory and what portion should not be there. What can we want to halve the portion. Then only we will get opportunity to introduce physical education, value education, life skill education and experiential learning. So all these things can come only there. That will create a good human being out of the system and students will be more interested. Yes, because of the half syllabus, they can actually do from next year, means we are starting now, but not next academic, 18-19 on, from 19-20. Learning outcomes are mandatory, that is the new accountability system, the teachers training, the 10th board exam and the exam at 5th and 8th. All these things will improve the quality of education at school level, and also we have taken many steps to improve the quality in higher education. After the right to education, they were given time up to 15th, but that only 5 lakh teachers did the education. Now 15 lakh were still untrained. This time we have launched it a massive course, online course, offline course, and more than 14 lakh teachers have registered themselves and are studying, and we are assessing them every weekly basis. So teachers training is another component.
And now let's get you some news from the northeast states where polling is to be held on the 27th of February. Meghalaya's most wanted terrorist, Sohandi Shira, was reportedly killed in a fierce encounter with security forces on Saturday. The self-proclaimed commander-in-chief of the Garo National Liberation Army was active in Garo Hills of Meghalaya that goes to polls on the 27th of this month. The encounter was reportedly a joint effort of the Garo Hills Police and Meghalaya's Special Force 10 commandos. Shira's GNLA is suspected to have killed NCP candidate Jonathan Nsangma in an IED attack on the 18th of February. In Nagaland, out of the 195 candidates contesting in the state assembly polls, 114 candidates are millionaires. Election watchdog ADR report says that 27 more added to the list after the 2013 elections. Here's a special report.
Election-bound Nagaland is among the poorest states in India. You wouldn't be able to guess that going by the assets declared by candidates contesting the state elections on February 27th. No less than 59% or 114 candidates in a list of 195 have assets worth over 1 crore. In comparison, the 2013 has 46% crorepati candidates, while the 2008 elections had only 28%.
Nagaland is also very known for its high rate of corruption, like many states in India, but Nagaland is known for that. And yes, our leaders are to be blamed. At the end of the day, it's the leaders who, they are called leaders for a reason, to lead the people. And because of all the policies going wrong and all the development work, instead of the development work, they're collecting money, they're accumulating money.
Among the 114 crorepatis, 43 are from NPF, that is fielding 56 candidates. The NDPP is fielding 39 candidates, 24 of them are crorpatis. 13 of the 20 BJP candidates are crorpatis. The NPP has 12 in 25, the JDU 7 in 13 and Congress 6 out of 18 candidates. The richest candidate among them all is the JDU's Ramongo Lotha, a retired bureaucrat who is contesting for the first time from Sanis Assembly seat. He has declared assets of over 38.92 crores. Former Chief Minister KL Chishi, contesting from the BJP, has declared 38 crore, while Nepurio, contesting for the NDPP, has assets of 36 crores. In all, 18 candidates have assets worth over 10 crore each. There are 5 retired government officials among the top 10 multi-millionaire candidates.
Government also has never really been able to address the economic issues of the people at the grassroots level. Now this has left the people very weak economically, generation after generation.
We want to wipe out that derailed system into proper and clean government now. Nagaland State, after MPF government, we have learned commission, we have learned percentage, outrightly demanded by the ministers and MLAs, and also the undergrounds. This has completely destroyed.
Most of the state's tribal residents are exempt from paying income tax. Significantly, only 3 of the 195 candidates have criminal records against them. The 2013 elections in Nagaland saw over 937 crore being spent, which was almost twice the amount spent in 2008.
This ADR report is sufficient to tell us that why the politicians of Nagaland are getting richer elections after elections, and the common man in Nagaland are left with the only issues of bad roads, unemployment and issue of corruption only. In Kohima and Mokokchung with Raj Thakur, this is Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
With that, a quick break here. We'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
So today we're here at the semi-finals of the East Zone. We have the team from Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, Sikkim, West Bengal. What change affected by constitutional amendment in 1988?
The constitutional amendment was the 61st amendment and it lowered the voting age from 21 to 18.
Fantastic answer. Let's give him a hand. I need the name of the person who became the first transgender person to become a member of an Indian state legislature. Which community is this? Jharkhand has unfortunately pressed the buzzer before I finish the question. They get a -5. Team from Bihar.
Anglo-Indian. 6A.
Team from Bihar again.
6
months, 6 mahine. Right answer, 10 points to the team from Bihar. Slowly catching up to the buzzer game. Winning this national semi-final is the team from...
Watch National Elections Quiz 2018, presented by Election Commission of India. Sunday at 9 AM and 3:30 PM, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back to the news tonight. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu asked the industry to invest in the agriculture sector. Addressing the Confederation of Indian Industries Partnership Summit 2018 in Visakhapatnam, the Vice President said that over 58% of rural households are dependent on agriculture in India. The Vice President also asked investors to look into the tremendous potential for investments. He said value addition can be made in agriculture and allied sectors like dairying, fisheries, poultry, food processing, setting up of cold storage facilities and refrigerated vans.
They want to invest in India because investors' confidence about India is very high because of the reforms, because of the leadership of the centre and leadership of the state. So that being the case, the future is very bright. Investing in India because they want good returns, They want hassle-free administration. Now there is a good atmosphere. State after state is competing with each other.
And here's a look at some more updates from across the country and nationwide. Pakistani troops violated ceasefire again along the line of control in Uri sector of Jammu and Kashmir on Saturday. It prompted retaliatory fire from the Indian Army. No casualties have been reported so far. Voting for the bypolls in Kolaras and Mungauli Assembly constituencies in Madhya Pradesh and Bijapur in Odisha took place on Saturday. Counting will take place on the 28th of February. Bypolls in Madhya Pradesh were necessitated by the death of sitting Congress legislators, while in Odisha, the bypoll was necessitated due to the death of Congress MLA Subal Shahu. Senior journalist and editor-in-chief of National Herald, Neelab Mishra, passed away on Saturday in a Chennai hospital. He was critically ill and with complications resulting from non-alcoholic liver cirrhosis. Mishra had steered the relaunch of the National Herald newspaper last year. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau ended his 8-day India visit with a game of ice hockey at the Canadian High Commission today. Trudeau, who came to India with a large contingent, had an extensive summit-level meeting with Prime Minister Modi on Friday. Our Foreign Affairs editor Akhilesh Suman caught up with Navdeep Singh Bence, one of the senior-most Canadian ministers, who was also in charge of the Science and Economic Development portfolio.
Navdeep Singh Bence, one of the most important ministers of Canada in the Union Cabinet. He is the Minister of Science and Innovation and also in Economic Development. Mr. Bence, how do you assess this visit of Prime Minister of Canada to India?
Well, I see, as you can see today, we're playing hockey. We're playing hockey with young girls. And this is what this relationship is about. It's really about that people-to-people connection. Lokan da bada pyar hai aapas de vich. My father was born in Rajasthan. And he left a small village in Rajasthan to come to Canada. He still goes and visits. We actually work closely with a local school there. So this is what Canada-India represents. And this is what we've been celebrating this week.
So you are from Indian origin. Your parents are in India. So how do you feel that India can be helped by Canada or India-Canada can cooperate?
There's many opportunities. So there's that people-to-people connection. There are over 125,000 students each year that go to Canada. There's over 400,000 students right now in Canada of Indian origin that are Indian citizens learning and going to some of the best schools in Canada. Tourism is high, an all-time high, but also there's a business-to-business connection. When we were here, we confirmed up to $1 billion worth of trade deals between, or business investments between businesses in Canada and India, which will create 6,000 jobs in Canada. So it's a win-win situation. And this is what this trip is about. When we have a strong Canada-India relationship, it's not only good for the two countries, it's better for the world.
But one issue popped up in between the talks about the issue of Khalistan and then how separatists are working there. So how do you think that, is it possible to rein in the separatists who are in Canada?
As you know, we have very strong relationships. We work together. This is really about strengthening the Canada-India relationship. This is why we're here. We want to have this opportunity to talk to one another, continue to work together to solve problems. And I'm confident that, you know, I tell people, politicians come and go. Political leaders come and go. Right. The relationship between Canada and India is so deep, so strong. Remember, I was talking about my father. Right. This is what this relationship is about. So
the India can expect, and India should expect that there will be nothing like that had happened in the past, that separatists were becoming the grooming ground in Canada.
As you know, we have been very clear about our position, and we'll continue to work with India.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Bence. Thank you so much. So this is Mr. Bence, and he is telling that India-Canada relationships are growing on very well, and the irritants are there, but those irritants will be reined in and it will be nullified. Akhilesh Suman for Sabha television with camera person Vijay in Delhi.
The United States is imposing a fresh set of sanctions on North Korea, and they are being called the largest ever. The U.S. Treasury Department lists 1 individual and 27 companies. 16 shipping companies, including those from China and Taiwan, are on the list. 28 ships are on the list as well. The U.S. says the new sanctions are designed to put a further squeeze on North Korea, cutting off sources of revenue and fuel for its nuclear program. North Korea is already under a range of international and U.S. sanctions over its nuclear program and missile tests. But last year, Pyongyang conducted several tests, including a nuclear weapon and a long-range ballistic missile capable of reaching the US. Speaking at a news conference, President Trump warned of serious consequences if the latest round of sanctions did not generate results.
If the sanctions don't work, we'll have to go phase 2. And phase 2 may be a very rough thing, may be very, very unfortunate for the world. But hopefully the sanctions will work. We have tremendous support all around the world for what we're doing. It really is a rogue nation. If we can make a deal, it'll be a great thing. And if we can't, something will have to happen. So we'll see.
At least 23 people were killed and more than a dozen wounded in a series of attacks and suicide bombings in Afghanistan early Saturday. According to the country's defense ministry, Taliban militants stormed an army base in the western province of Farah in the wee hours. More than a dozen soldiers were killed in the ambush. In the other attack, a suicide bomber detonated his explosives near the diplomatic area of Kabul during the morning rush hour. 3 people were killed, while half a dozen were injured in the suicide bombing, which was claimed by the Islamic State. 2 separate attacks took place in volatile southern Helmand province. 2 soldiers lost their lives, while more than a dozen others were reported to be wounded. And that's all on the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.